Hello YouTube, this is Sam Gerrans from quarternight.com. Today is Saturday the 25th of January 2020, and today what I would like to talk about is predestination. I get this question quite a lot, so I just decided to make a video on it. Predestination, do we have free choice? Do we not have free choice? One of the reasons why I want to get to this question is because in the Islamic world, well, what we call the Islamic world, predestination has been a way of, well, perceptions and discussions on predestination have been a way of stopping people from having any initiative, and it's turned entire countries into swathes of sleepy indolence, laziness, and superstition, and so on. I'm not trying to combat that, but seeing as I've been asked what my view on this question is, I'm going to try to explain it. So this is my view. Other people can feel free to disagree, but this is the way that I see it. Obviously, greater minds than mine have tried to explain this, and there's a whole philosophical library you can read on this subject. But this is how I've worked it out for myself. I'm not saying this is never going to change. I'm just saying this is how I see it. I use an analogy. The analogy would be like football. Life is like a game of football. So do you choose the team that you're on? Well, maybe to some extent. Maybe you can transfer out of one team to another team, but basically you're born inside a team, and some aspects of team membership you can't change. Things like race, you can't change that. Your sex, no matter how deluded you may be, in this day and age, you can't change that. You're born male, you're born female. There are certain things that, these things are just written, as it were. So there's nothing you can do about that. You can't change how long you're going to be on the pitch. The manager puts you on, and then the manager takes you off. These things are just outside of your control. So those are things I don't personally worry about. You don't fix the rules of the game. The rules are fixed. There's in the UK, I don't know what it's called now, but the Football Association, well, it was called that in the 1970s when I cared about football when I was a little boy. They've got rules, and you don't set those rules. Those rules just are. It's called reality, and this is. I don't want to get into it too much here, but this is why the left is so dangerous. Is because it's basically fighting against reality, and but this is a thing called reality, and those rules are. Well, while we're talking about the left, to continue the analogy, what really happening there is that with this whole identity thing, everyone's got an identity. Is they're basically walking off the pitch, sitting on the sidelines and bitching about why they're not having a better, why people aren't letting them score goals. But there are things that you don't choose. Some of us are, born with more or less skills, but it's not, that's not the point. The point isn't what skills you're born with. The point is what you do with those skills. So nobody is born as a Cristiano Ronaldo. You're not born that way. You may have the potential to become Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano Ronaldo was not born with those skills. Or what's the other one called? Messi. I'm not really up on it, but whoever the big players are now, right? These guys train. So they don't sit around eating packets of crisps and watching television, drinking Coca-Cola, or wishing to become great football players. Nor do they consider that it's written. They may feel like they have a calling for it, but what I'm trying to say is they put in effort. So there's that, right? And that's obviously continuing the analogy. We put in efforts into our life. So sure, there are people who are better or worse. Or better or worse, playing a particular position. I don't know what positions are. Centre forward or goalkeeper, whatever it is. You may be in the wrong position. So, but when it comes down to it, it's not so much which team you're on, or which position you're in exactly. It's what you did with what you had. So that's the way I see it. If you want to call it a doctrine, my own personal philosophy is it's an active philosophy. It's not sitting around going inshallah and waiting for it all to come to me. It's taking an active role in what I do. However, firstly, as I say, there are things that I have no control over. I have no control over who the manager is. I have no control over the rules of the Football Association, and so on. But what I can do is play the best that I can. I can apply my brain to the game. I can attempt to work with other people who are the better players to affect the score. So those are things that I see. I can impact those things. However, I have no influence whatsoever on the weather. It starts raining in the middle of the game. Is that my fault? No, it's not my fault. But I can respond to that. I don't know what they do, put some special stuff on their boots, so who knows what they do. But the responses to it. And also, if it's raining on the pitch, everyone's getting wet, right? So, it's waiting for perfect conditions. That's not going to work either. So, the way that I see it is, I, as a player on the pitch, I perceive that within certain boundaries, I have a choice. I can choose to play better or worse. I can choose to put more or less effort into it. I can choose to retain, in Quranic terminology, taqwa when I'm playing, or I can just play for myself. I can just be out there. So each of us has those that responsibility, and which brings me to my next point, which is that we all perceive, in our experience, we experience life as a free choice within these parameters. So that equates, in my mind, to responsibility. You, I, whoever it is, we are responsible for what we did with what we had. However, God is above all things, and so God is above my perception of my own ability to affect what I'm doing. Now, the fact that I don't understand his superior knowledge of this reality is not my problem. It's not my responsibility. It's outside. It lies outside the pitch. It lies outside anything that I can understand about the rules of the Football Association. It's not my job. My job is to work within these parameters to the best of my ability. The fact that God knows all things and is above all things, including my knowledge of where I am on the pitch and the degree to which my efforts are mine, it lies outside of that area within which I can grasp that with my own knowledge, well, by definition, and so I don't worry about that. I stay focused on what I can do. So, do I experience free will? Yes, I do. Is God above my free will? Yes, he is. Is that my problem? No, it isn't. There you are. That's it. That's all for now. If you're listening on YouTube, you can download my full translation of the Quran free using the button in the top right hand corner, or buy the hard copy there at 10% less than on Amazon. I also encourage you to sign up for the Quranite Plus newsletter on the site to get occasional micro updates. You can download the audio from my YouTube videos to your mobile device using the links in the drop down below. I recommend meetquranites.com to connect with other Quran alone believers. Like if you like, comment if you have something constructive to say, and subscribe to get more each week. And use the link in the drop down below to donate if you would like to help me keep doing this. And remember, this life is short, eternity is long. If you want good trees, plant good seeds.